Dr. Saul here, and today I need you to stop for a moment because what I am about to tell you could completely change the way you think about eating after 50. A study from the University of Illinois followed more than 2,800 people between the ages of 52 and 75, and they found that people who ate legumes like black beans, lentils, and chickpeas at least 4 times a week had up to 32% more muscle mass than those who did not, even though both groups exercised the same amount. 32%. That is a huge number. And what shocked me the most was not that number, but the fact that these legumes are cheaper than beef, cheaper than salmon, cheaper than a tub of protein powder. You can buy a can of chickpeas or black beans at any grocery store for less than $2. So why has nobody told you this before? I do not know, but today I will. Because after 50, your body loses muscle much faster than you think. And if you do nothing to stop it, the consequences are not just looking weaker. They are falls, broken bones, loss of independence, and a whole range of other health problems that come along with it. So stay with me, because in this video I will explain exactly what those legumes are, why they work so well, and how to eat them correctly so you actually feel the difference. Part 1. After 50, what is your muscle actually doing? All right, before I go any further, I want you to understand one important thing about your body. Not in an academic textbook way, but in a practical way that you can feel every single day. Starting around age 50, your body begins losing muscle at a rate of about 1 to 2% per year. That might sound small, but think about it this way. After 10 years, that is 10 to 20% of your muscle mass gone. That is why many people around age 60 or 65 start finding it hard to carry groceries, hard to get up from a chair, hard to climb stairs, or even hard to keep their balance while walking. And the sad thing is that most people just think of it as a normal part of getting old. It is not. It is a process that can be significantly slowed down if you know how. Your body is constantly building and breaking down muscle every single day, like a house being continuously renovated. The problem is that after 50, the breakdown happens faster than the rebuilding, and that gap gets wider over time. So what does food have to do with it? Food is the raw material. Without good raw material, no matter how much you exercise, your body does not have enough to rebuild what has been lost. And the legumes I am going to talk about today contain exactly the kind of raw material that a body over 50 needs the most, in a way that even beef or chicken breast cannot fully replicate. Part 2. Which legumes are we talking about? All right, this is where I get specific, and I think a lot of you will be surprised, maybe even a little skeptical, but stay with me because I will explain why. The legumes I want to talk about today are black beans, kidney beans, lentils, and chickpeas. All 4 of these are available at virtually every grocery store in America, either canned or dried, and they usually cost less than $2 a can. I know. You are thinking, Saul, are you telling me those cheap little cans of beans are better than steak? And my answer is, in some specific cases, especially for a body over 50, yes. Not because black beans or lentils have more protein than meat still wins on that front, but because these legumes contain a very special combination that an older body needs not just to build muscle, but to hold on to it longer. Let me break it down for you in the simplest way I can. Part 3. Why legumes work so well for the body over 50. First, whether you are eating black beans, kidney beans, lentils, or chickpeas, they all share one very special quality. They contain both protein and complex carbohydrates in the same food, and that matters a lot more than you might think. When you eat pure protein, like chicken breast or egg whites with nothing else, your body often uses part of that protein for energy instead of using it to build muscle. But when protein comes along with good carbohydrates, like in black beans or lentils, your body has enough energy to run from those carbohydrates, which means all of the protein gets saved for repairing and building muscle. That is why when you eat chickpeas or kidney beans, your body uses the protein more efficiently than when you eat protein on its own. Second, all 4 of these legumes are very high in fiber, and that fiber plays a surprising role that most people never hear about. The fiber in lentils and black beans feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut, and those bacteria produce compounds that help reduce inflammation throughout your body. Why does that matter for your muscles? Because chronic inflammation is one of the biggest reasons why older adults recover so slowly after exercise or after a lot of physical activity. When inflammation goes down, muscle recovers faster, and you hold on to more of it over time. Third, black beans, kidney beans, lentils, and chickpeas all have a low glycemic index, which means they do not cause your blood sugar to spike and then drop quickly the way white bread or white rice does. This matters because when blood sugar goes up and down erratically, the body releases more insulin than it needs to, and over time, that can lead to a state where muscle has a harder time absorbing nutrients. People over 50 are more vulnerable to this than younger people, so eating these legumes that keep blood sugar stable has a real and significant impact on your ability to build and hold on to muscle. Part 4. What the research actually says. I do not want you to just take my word for it because I am a doctor. I want you to see that there is real evidence behind this. So let me share a few interesting things that researchers have found. I already mentioned the University of Illinois study with more than 2,800 people, but there is more. A research team from Brigham and Women's Hospital at Harvard Medical School followed about 1,500 older adults over 5 years and found that those who regularly ate chickpeas, black beans, or lentils at least 3 times a week had a 28% lower risk of significant muscle loss compared to those who rarely ate these legumes. And that remained true even when controlling for exercise. And another study from Tufts University in Boston, one of the leading centers for geriatric nutrition research in the country, found that older adults who ate a diet rich in lentils and kidney beans recovered muscle significantly faster after physical activity, and they also maintained better strength in their arms and legs over time compared to those who ate fewer of these legumes. What I want you to take away is not those exact numbers, but the overall pattern these studies point to. Black beans, kidney beans, lentils, and chickpeas are not second-rate foods. They are among the foods that are truly well-matched to the physiology of the aging body. Part 5. How to eat them correctly to actually feel the difference. Knowing these legumes are good for you is one thing, but eating them the right way is another. Because if you just open a can of chickpeas or black beans and eat them plain, you will probably get bored after the first week and give up. I do not want that to happen, so let me share some practical ways to bring black beans, kidney beans, lentils, and chickpeas into your daily life in a way that is easy and even enjoyable. The first thing to remember is portion size. You do not need to eat a huge amount to see results. About half a cup of cooked lentils or black beans per meal, which is about 4 ounces, is enough to provide around 7 to 9 grams of protein along with fiber and other nutrients. If you eat chickpeas or kidney beans twice a day, you will already have around 15 to 18 grams of protein from this source alone, and you can still combine it with other protein sources like eggs or fish to meet your daily needs. For frequency, your goal is to eat one of these 4 legumes at least 4 times a week. Not every day, not every meal, just consistently. Just like with exercise, consistency matters more than intensity. Now for cooking, I want to share a few practical ideas that many of my patients have tried and found helpful. The simplest approach is to add black beans or kidney beans to soup. Are you making chicken soup or vegetable soup? Just throw in half a can of black beans and that is it. The flavor barely changes, but you have added extra protein and fiber. The second approach is to make a chickpea salad. Open a can of chickpeas, rinse them, toss with diced cucumber, cherry tomatoes, a little olive oil, a little lemon juice, and salt and pepper. 15 minutes and you are done, and you can keep it in the fridge for several days. The third approach that many Americans are already familiar with is hummus, which is essentially pureed chickpeas, and you can use it as a dip with whole grain crackers or fresh vegetables. As for lentils, they are extremely easy to cook because they do not need to be soaked beforehand. You just boil them in water for about 20 minutes and they are ready to use in soup, mixed into a salad, or served alongside brown rice. One more thing I want to mention is water intake. When you increase your fiber from black beans, lentils, or chickpeas, you also need to drink enough water to avoid any digestive discomfort. The goal is about 8 cups of water per day, which is about 64 ounces. If you have not been eating many of these legumes before, start slow, begin with a small portion, and gradually increase week by week so your body has time to adjust. Part 6. Combining legumes with animal protein or not. The question I hear most from my patients is, Saul, do I need to give up meat? And my clear answer is no. I am not an advocate for vegetarianism or veganism, and I do not think you need to choose one or the other. In fact, combining black beans, lentils, or chickpeas with a small amount of animal protein usually gives the best results. The reason is that meat, fish, eggs, and dairy contain all of the essential amino acids that your body cannot produce on its own, while black beans or kidney beans are often missing a few specific amino acids. But when you combine chickpeas or lentils with animal protein sources, you fill in that gap and get a more complete combination. A practical example would be a meal with about 3 ounces of salmon or chicken breast plus half a cup of black beans or lentils and some leafy greens. That is a balanced meal, easy to prepare, not expensive, and it truly gives your body what it needs to maintain and build muscle after 50. The important thing is not to think of black beans, kidney beans, lentils, or chickpeas as a complete replacement, but to think of them as reliable partners in your diet. Part 7. What you may notice after a few weeks. Many of my patients, after starting to eat black beans, lentils, or chickpeas consistently, have come back and told me about the changes they noticed. And I want to share that with you so you know what to expect, and more importantly, so you know that those changes are real and can happen to you. In week 1 and week 2, what most people notice first is their energy levels. Many say they no longer feel wiped out in the afternoon the way they used to, and they sleep better at night. This is connected to more stable blood sugar throughout the day, thanks to the fiber and complex carbohydrates in black beans and lentils. From week 3 to week 6, some people begin to notice that they feel a little stronger doing everyday tasks. For example, carrying shopping bags, getting up from a chair, or climbing stairs. This is not imagination. It is a real sign that your muscles are being better nourished and recovering faster, thanks to chickpeas and kidney beans. After about 2 to 3 months of eating black beans, lentils, or chickpeas, consistently along with light physical activity, which could be a 30-minute walk each day or some light exercises, many people notice a clearer difference in their overall muscle strength. Of course, every person will respond differently, and nobody can promise identical results. But what I can say with confidence is that if you do this correctly and stay consistent with these legumes, your body will respond positively to that change. We have covered a lot of ground today, from understanding why muscle is lost after 50 to discovering that black beans, kidney beans, lentils, and chickpeas, those inexpensive cans at the grocery store, can be one of the best tools you have to fight back against that. The most important thing I want you to take away from this video is do not let age decide your strength, because you still have control over that through the small choices you make every day, and these legumes are one of those small choices. If this video was helpful to you, please share it with a friend or a family member, especially anyone who is worried about their health and strength as they get older, so they can also learn how to protect their body. And if you find value in what I share, please hit like so this video can reach more people, and subscribe so we can meet again in the next health tip.